yogis! So today is the first day of my joint healing series. I've had a lot of you say, I've got really bad knees or ankles or wrists, elbows, and I just can't do yoga, help. So that's what we're gonna be focusing on today. If you're like me, I have awful knees and ankles, so that's what we're gonna be focusing on, but we'll cover the rest of it through the course of this series. If you're like me and you're lacking proper strength or function of your knees, you can actually check this by standing up straight with your legs parallel, then squeeze your thigh muscle and watch your kneecaps lift. Do your kneecaps move up in a straight line, or do they move in an angle toward the outside of your knees? If the latter is the case, like it is for me, then you need to strengthen your vastus medialis or inner thigh muscle. Oftentimes when we have weak joints, we tend to baby it, causing us to lose muscle and resulting in more pain. So today we're going to learn how to properly strengthen and support our joints in our knees and ankles. If you have a yoga block or a small pillow nearby, go ahead and grab that. Otherwise, meet me on your mat for sun salutations.
Today we'll start our sun salute in mountain pose, which seems simple after all, you're just standing there, but when done right, it's a very active stretch. We're going to spend a lot of time in mountain pose because it brings awareness to the muscles that you need to engage in order to protect your knees every day. I'll offer two variations of this pose, one with a block or pillow and one without. If you don't have a prop to use, then stand with your big toes touching, heels slightly apart. If it's hard for you to balance, you can create more distance between your feet. Press evenly across all four corners of your feet and lift the arches slightly. Draw the tops of your thighs up and back, engaging your quads, and rotate your thighs slightly inward, widening those sits bones. Tuck your tailbone in just slightly, keeping a straight back. Imagine a long string pulling you from the top of your head, stretching your stomach. Release your shoulder blades down and in, stay relaxed but firm, and allow your inner arms to rotate outward. Now, hold this, or if you want to add a variation to this pose, put a block or pillow between your upper thighs. This will help train you to properly engage your quads and inner thighs to avoid dumping extra weight on your knees. You'll bring your feet just hip-width apart and the block between your legs. Then roll the block back behind you so your butt's sticking out like one of those Instagram girls. Then as you let your glutes lower naturally toward the ground, subtly draw the block up toward your pubic bone, engaging your abdomen. Roll your shoulders back, rotating your palms forward, and we'll hold for several breaths. You can set an intention here, perhaps one of wisdom and healing for your body. Who would have thought that the way we stand could have such an effect on our knees? Inhale the arms overhead for upward salute. When you found your balance, rise up high onto your toes, engaging your calves, and lower down, repeating your calf raises for 30 seconds, really squeezing the muscles at the top. Maintaining this posture will introduce an Achilles stretch by placing your left leg a step behind your right leg. Keep your heels on the floor and bend your knees slightly until you feel a stretch in your Achilles tendon. Inhale, return to upward salute. Exhale, release the arms with a swan dive down into forward fold. One common mistake is to straighten the legs in this bend by slamming the knees straight back. As you forward fold, deeply bend your knees, then place your hands around the meatier part of your calves with your fingers pointing towards your heels. Press your hands into your calves and lift your hips directly up over the heels to straighten the legs. Release the neck completely. This version of a forward fold will prepare you for half lift or any other straight-legged posture by keeping you from hyperextending your knees. On your next inhale, straighten the spine and bring your hands to your shins for halfway lift. Remember to not lock out at the knees and to create a flat shelf from your head to tail. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step back for high plank. Exhale, hinge forward and chaturanga. If you missed how to do this in my toned arms video, just continue holding high plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, thighs and knees off the mat. And everyone exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the pelvis up to the sky, creating a V with your body. Spread your fingers wide, and most importantly, work on bringing your heels toward the ground. To deepen a stretch in your calves, you can walk your dog by treading each heel. Inhale, walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive into an upward salute, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, arms at your sides, palms out, mountain pose. We'll go through this sequence again on the other side, still focusing on form, but moving slightly quicker. If you want to grab that block or pillow, please do so. Otherwise, let's check that you're engaging the tops of your thighs up and back, keeping a straight spine as if a string's being pulled from the top of your head. Think of your surrounding muscles as armor for your knees. Inhale the arms overhead for upward salute. And begin 30 seconds of calf raises. Transition into your Achilles stretch, placing that right leg a step behind the left leg. Keep your heels on the floor and bend your knees till you feel a good stretch in that tendon. Inhale, return to upward salute. Exhale, release the arm with a swan dive down into forward fold. Place your hands around that meatier part of your calf with your fingers pointing towards your heels. Press your hands into your calves and lift your hips directly up to straighten the legs, releasing the neck. Inhale, straighten the spine for a halfway lift, creating a flat shelf from your head to tail. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, hinge forward and chaturanga, or hold high plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, thighs and knees off the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog, pressing firmly back into the heels to stretch your calves. Inhale, walk your feet up to the top of your mat. On your next inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive upward. Exhale, mountain pose. This feels really good and we have learned so much, so taking our newfound wisdom, we'll repeat this flow one more time, moving breath to movement. If you don't feel comfortable moving through without additional direction, you can skip back and do those first 2 salutations again. We will then have completed our warm-up with 4 sun salutations total. Inhale, upward salute, 30 seconds of calf raises. Really get a squeeze here. We're doing this to strengthen our ankles and our knees. Achilles stretch with our left leg back. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, swan dive down into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, walk to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, upward salute. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, upward salute. 30 seconds, calf raises. This is our last time doing these, so really make the most of it. Beautiful warm-up, yogis! We'll now move into our warrior segment. Warrior pose strengthens a specific quadricep muscle, the vastus medialis, which supports the knee. If your vastus medialis is weak, your knee ends up being overworked whenever you walk, stand, or bend. Let's gather in down dog as a transition into our high lunge. When you're in down dog, as you step the left foot forward for a lunge, you want to hit the 2 points of alignment right away. 1, your foot should step to the same thumb, left foot to left thumb, not directly in the center of your hands. This is going to make sure that when you come, your knee is pointing directly forward from your hip joint and not buckling in toward the center. 2, when you're still in that lower lunge, your toes and fingertips should be lined up. This is going to ensure that when you come up, your knee isn't too far past your ankle, causing unnecessary pressure on that joint. To get into warrior one pose from here, keep your front leg bent, move your back foot so it's pointing in a 45-degree angle flat on the ground. You may need to step your back foot up a bit to do this. Keep a bend in your front knee as you reach your arms up toward the ceiling. Bring your awareness to your back leg in this pose. Double check that your toes and knees are facing the same angle. One commonly taught but incorrect instruction is to square your hips forward in warrior one. The reason this doesn't work is because if your back foot is at a 45-degree angle and you try and twist your hips past that, it's your knee joint taking on the twist, which can really cause some damage. So from your diagonal hips, spin your top body forward, not from the pelvis, but from the ribs, heart, shoulders, and head. With these principles in mind, take warrior two. Now, I've gone over this pose a lot in the past. Simply align your back arch with your front heel, square your hips to the side wall, twist the torso forward, and open up the arms, gazing forward. To protect the knee, make sure you can see your front two toes. If the vastus medialis is not properly engaged, then your knee is going to be falling inward. The challenge of aligning the knee is to keep your heel and big toe grounded while keeping the inner arch of the foot lifted. By grounding and lifting, we're keeping the knee from turning inward or outward too much. Proper alignment in the warrior pose lets the vastus medialis work to align and strengthen your knee. On an inhale, take triangle pose, straightening your front leg, hinging forward at the hips, and then rotating your back hand into the air and your front hand to the outer shin or ankle. In straight-legged poses like these, be careful not to lock the knee and dump into the joint. Rather, engage your leg muscles to support your weight and press out through your foot like you're stepping on the gas pedal. We'll transition into half moon pose. This is still a hard one for me. The only difference between half moon pose and triangle pose is that you're balancing completely on your front foot with your back leg off the ground. You can use a block to support your bottom hand or practice this against a wall until you feel confident with the balance. Slowly release back to the mat for downward facing dog. Walk the feet to the top of your mat and roll up slowly to mountain pose. Begin ankle extension by placing the top of your left foot on the ground and finding a stretch in this plantar flexion. Then release and step the left foot back for high lunge. Ensure that your knee is in line with your ankle and your hips are squared forward. Move to Warrior 1 by placing your back foot flat on the ground at that 45-degree angle and letting your hips align with the knees. Rotate your top body to the front of the room. Take Warrior 2, rotating your back foot to that 90-degree angle, squaring the hips to the sidewall. Press down through the outer edge of your back foot. Double check that you can see at least your big toe. Exhale, triangle pose. Straighten the front leg, hinge at the hips, and rotate the arms vertically. If it's not too much pressure on your neck, you can gaze up. And then if you're ready for it, you can take half moon pose. Work to bring your back leg parallel to the floor. And on an exhale, take downward dog. Walk the feet to the top of your mat. Roll up to mountain pose. Now right foot ankle extension. We're now going to take this sequence one more time on each side, just a little bit quicker. Exhale, right foot back, high lunge. Inhale, Warrior 1. Exhale, Warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the leg, hinge at the hips. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, half moon pose. We'll do this for several breaths. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, walk to the top of your mat. Exhale, roll up to mountain pose. Inhale, left foot ankle extension. On your next exhale, left foot back, high lunge. Inhale, Warrior 1. Exhale, Warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the leg, hinge at the hips. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, half moon pose for several breaths. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, walk to the top of your mat. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, right foot ankle extension. So our last segment of our flow before Shavasana, we're gonna do some floor work, which allows us to train the muscles that surround our knees with little strain on our joints. So exhale, forward fold. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, lower slowly to the ground. We're going to work our back leg or hamstring by tightening the muscle of our glutes and then lifting one leg up toward the ceiling, keeping it straight. The reason that we tighten our glutes here is to protect our low back and ensure we're engaging our leg muscles. Lower the leg back down and then raise the other leg. We'll do 30 seconds of alternating leg raises on our belly. Now, lie on one side with your legs stacked. Bend to the bottom leg for support and straighten the top leg and raise it to 45 degrees. These side leg raises help to engage your outer quad or adductor muscles and are really important for joint strength. Let's do another 30 seconds of these. The point isn't to go fast, but to go strong. Now that those 30 seconds are over, we'll stretch our hip flexor and quad by straightening our bottom leg, bending the top and grabbing the foot, pulling it toward our glutes. The tighter your quad is, the more pressure it puts on your kneecap. That's why whenever I'm doing exercises that are hard on my knees, like squats or running, I often take breaks to stretch my quads. Now roll to your other side for 30 seconds of leg raises there. The reason I like to do this in time intervals instead of by repetitions is because it lets you go at your own pace and really listen to your body. Now we'll take a moment to stretch this quad muscle. Nice. Meet me seated, legs outstretched in Dandasana pose. Sit with your ankles pinned together and actively dorsiflex. This is going to be an ankle strengthening exercise. I like to call it foot namaste. Turn the soles of your feet inwards as if to say namaste with your feet. Then reverse the action, turning the soles of your feet outward, like you're attempting a reverse namaste with your feet. We'll repeat this for the next 30 seconds. We'll finish out today with a few last poses on our back. We're going to do something very similar to our straight leg raises on our stomach, except this way we're strengthening our quads and our hamstrings, and with no knee strain. Bend one knee and place your foot flat on the floor, keeping the other leg straight. Raise it to the height of the opposite knee. As you hold it here for about 3 to 5 seconds, circle your ankles to increase range of motion. Now, lower, and repeat at your own pace for the next 30 seconds. Switch legs and do the same thing on the other side. Raise the leg, ankle circles, lower, repeat. You got it. You should feel really good here. You're taking time to strengthen, stretch, and take care of your knee and ankle joints, which is something a lot of people really don't take time for. This is going to benefit you not just today, but hopefully the rest of your life as you continue to work on these exercises. For our next pose, you can grab a block or pillow if you'd like. We're going to take bridge pose, which is normally a glute strengthening exercise. Weak glutes are often the cause for knee pain, and by adding in that pillow or block, we're also engaging our vastus medialis, getting 2 birds with 1 stone here. Bend your knees and plant your feet about hip distance apart. If you have one, place a yoga block or pillow between your knees. Inhale and lift your hips up as you press your hands down into the floor alongside your hips. Consciously squeeze the block And if you don't have one, squeeze your glutes as you keep your hips lifted for several breaths. Exhale, release. Inhale, bridge pose, and hold. Exhale, release. One last time, bridge pose. Really squeeze here. Exhale, release, and remove the prop if you have one. Straighten your legs and bring one knee up to your chest. Grab the back of your thigh and slowly straighten out that raised leg. This supine hamstring stretch is a great way to release any tightness that may be pulling on the knee joint. Switch other leg. For our final stretch, bring your ankle to your knee in a figure 4 pose. You can pull on the back of your thigh to increase the stretch. Should look something like this. Release and switch to the other side. Then let's conclude our joint healing journey in Shavasana. Lie flat on your mat, palms up, and begin to center your thoughts on your breath. If you need to, gently shake out any areas of your body that still feel tense. Then relax and just enjoy the stillness. It's important that we take quiet time like this every day to find healing. Because when our brain and our heart is healthy and happy, it's so much easier for our bodies to achieve that too. Yogis, bring your attention back to the space. Notice the feeling of your body grounded to the earth, and roll over to one side, pushing yourself up to a seated position, cross-legged on your mat. Namaste means that the light in me sees and honors the light in you. I hope that today you found healing physically and spiritually in this practice. Namaste.
Sweet deal. I highly recommend after a yoga flow like that you ice your knees and ankles, especially if they are problem areas for you, and you continue to stretch and strengthen these joints every day so that we can overcome this pain that we're all dealing with. If there are other joints that you would like me to focus on in my next video, please comment below. Also like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. So that together we can overcome this knee and ankle pain that we're all dealing with.